blackmythwukong, Chapter 2 Cinematic Breakdown. At first glance, this feels like a simple Farmer and the Viper story. You think so? Wrong. Let me take you on a journey. Let's step back and view the full picture, not just the events, but the psychology behind them. The Scholar and the Fox. A lone scholar treks through the desolate mountains carrying a wooden pack on his back. Quick note, this kind of pack was the traditional backpack for scholars in ancient times. On the road, he encounters a fox, but this is no ordinary fox. In fact, you might not know who she truly is. If you complete a hidden quest in Chapter 3, you can unlock her portraits, revealing her backstory. There was once a young fox who harbored a deep aspiration to become a fox immortal from a very young age. Driven by this dream, she practiced diligently and tirelessly. Only those who demonstrate exceptional skill in both arts and philosophy can ascend to immortality. She relied solely on the essence of the sun and moon for cultivation. Decades passed in the mountains. As she gradually acquired the ability to transform, she often approached human villages to observe their way of life. One day, she accidentally stepped into a hunter's trap and was rescued by a young scholar who took her home. Notice this. The scholar drops his pack. Now we see him carefully bandaging the fox's injured leg. The small fox drinks the water he offers, a sign of trust. Later, in Chapter 3's hidden side quest,
one day, I was foraging for food and found myself caught in a hunter's trap. A young scholar saved me and kept me in his home to let me heal. I couldn't move, yet my heart swelled with gratitude. I thought I could aid him in his career in return for saving my life.
At this point, the scholar smiles in relief, and it seems like a beautiful story of kindness and gratitude. The next day, the fox transforms into a young woman. What happens next? It's straightforward. But pay attention. Blood starts seeping from the room. The scholar rushes inside, and the first thing he sees are the lifeless bodies of his two children. Panic-stricken, he scrambles to check on the rest of his family. Cold sweat drips down his face. What does he see? Someone torturing his barely breathing child. The attacker is wearing the fox's clothes. Fox ears. A fox tail. In her hand, something red. Something she's eating. The dying child sees the scholar and reaches out, pleading for help. The attacker notices. She turns, locks eyes with him. The scholar wakes up. Drenched in sweat, it was just a dream. Or was it? If we think back on his dream, something isn't right. For one, the scholar's relationship with the fox had been progressing towards a happy ending. Why would it suddenly take such a brutal turn? It doesn't fit his own expectations. Secondly, if the fox really was a vicious Yao Guai, why did she wait decades before attacking? If she wanted to eat humans, she had countless chances before now. Many assume this was just her primal instincts taking over, but that doesn't match the scholar's vision of her. Plus, the longer a fox lives, the stronger their cultivation, and the better their self-control. Losing control so suddenly, something's not right. Look closely at the eyes. Pay attention to the cannibal fox's eyes. They're yellow with vertical pupils. Watch the animation again. The fox's natural eye color is black. Even in the scholar's dream, her eyes are still black. In visual storytelling, a character's natural eye color rarely changes. If the goal was to show her going feral, red eyes would make more sense than yellow. Red conveys rage and bloodlust, while yellow feels off. So why did the creators specifically choose yellow? Because it hints at something deeper. Someone tampered with his dream. A fatal misunderstanding. The scholar wakes up, gasping for air. He looks to the side. The fox is still peacefully asleep. He sighs in relief. But what does he do next? He kills her and makes a scarf out of her fur. Why? Because in his dream, the fox turned into a man eating Yao Guai. He believes she's evil. In traditional beliefs, Yao Guai are seen as inherently wicked. So under the influence of those beliefs, he condemns the fox as evil. In the next chapter's hidden quest, he even says, a Yao Guai is a Yao Guai. There is no saving them. And in his portraits, he writes, if I do not kill it, I leave behind a disaster for others. The fox's own response, those who fear Yao Guai are more terrifying than the Yao Guai themselves. The scholar's fate. With his deed done, the scholar picks up his wooden pack and continues his journey.
Man.
At this moment, Bodhisattva Lingji steps in.
Buddha.
He reflects on the story and comments,
Guais. Each of them bears a distinct root from birth. Superior and inferior. None should disturb what's decided.
Lingji first draws a parallel between humans and animals, then between Buddhas and Yao Guai. He explains that all beings have their own nature, the roots of prejudice. In Buddhist teachings, a person's spiritual capacity, genki, determines how well they can comprehend the Dharma. There's even a classic ranking system, dividing people into 4 types. Sharp-rooted, diken, quick learners like fine horses, good-rooted, steady learners like good horses, dull-rooted, tungen, slow learners like common horses, rootless, wugen, those who can never grasp it like weak horses. Lingji applies this hierarchy to Buddha, humans, beasts, and Yao Guai. And when you connect this idea to the animation, his meaning becomes clear. The scholar abandoned his original path to save the fox. That was acting in discord. He dreamed of living happily with her. That too was acting in discord. Only when the fox betrayed him did he realize the difference in their nature, and by killing her, he corrected his course. At first, most players agree with Lingji because the devs put this animation in Chapter 2 before you can complete the fox's hidden quest in Chapter 3. Without that extra knowledge, you only see the fox eating people. So you assume Lingji is right. But after uncovering her story, you realize if no one had tampered with the dream, both the scholar and the fox could have had a happy ending. Yet, because of prejudice, because of the hierarchy of spiritual capacity, everything changed. Prejudice shapes attitudes. Attitudes shape actions. Originally, the scholar saved the fox out of pure kindness. When she took human form, he didn't see anything wrong with it. But then, the dream manipulated him. He became convinced she was evil, that beasts are inferior, that Yao Guai are hopeless. And so, he killed her, all because of preconceived bias.
They say mortals and Yao Guais walk different paths, but it's after seeing him again that I understood. Those who fear Yao Guais are fouler than what they fear.